Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Movies for Life, and welcome to this 1983 horror movie review as part of my overall 1980s horror movie series. So the movie we're going to take a look at today is one that I watched for free on Tubi. It's also free on YouTube if you want to check it out. But it's a 1983 Canadian comedy horror film called Skullduggery. And yeah, it's a movie I knew nothing about until going into it. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. This will be a shorter video because I really don't have that much to say about the movie. So just a heads up, it won't be tough to stick around on this one. So Skullduggery, also known as Warlock and Blood Puzzle, is a 1983 Canadian comedy horror film directed by Oda Richter. The plot depicts the devil using a role playing game to transform a young man into a serial killer. So, a group of young adults working at a costume rental store also collaborate on a fantasy role playing game. One of the players, a young man named Adam, is the descendant of a long line of men who are all cursed by the devil. While working in the community college theater performance, while working at the community college theater performance, a strange magician appears and puts a curse on Adam, forcing him to remember the fate of his ancestors and to make him believe he that he really is a warlock. Increasingly, Adam is unable to determine the difference between fantasy and reality and believes that as a warlock, he is on a quest to kill various people. As the bodies pile up, the local police are baffled and no one suspects that Adam is a deranged serial killer being commanded to kill by the devil. So yeah, that's to set up the premise, the beginning of Skullduggery. As far as the cast goes, we have called David Calderisi as the sorcerer slash Doctor Evil, Wendy Crewson as Barbara slash Dorjan, Tom Haverstock as Adam, and David Main as Chuck. So that's to set up the premise and the cast for the 1983 Canadian comedy horror film Skullduggery. This movie sounds a lot more interesting than it actually is. This is a case where they had a really ambitious idea, a pretty cool idea, but it's executed terribly. So that lets the movie down, obviously. But let's just go ahead and get into my review for Skullduggery, starting with the good things about it. And as I said, it has a really interesting and cool premise. Now, I was never a role player. I did witness other people, friends of mine, back when I was in my teenage years, take part in the old Dungeons and Dragons role playing game, which is kind of what I think this takes off on. They don't call it Dungeons and Dragons per se, but so I got to witness that where the different players have to make choices, and it's interesting in that regard. I'm sure for people that have actually done role playing games like that, this movie might actually pique their interest even more than it did mine with that premise. Um, but yeah, it is a cool premise. I think the only problem, well, I'll get into that with my cons, but the premise itself of this role playing fantasy game turning into a real life horror is very interesting, and it's a good setup. It's a good idea for a horror movie, I guess is what I'm trying to say in my uh, long-winded way here. They have a really good premise there. There are some decent kills in the movie, different ways of being killed among the very many kills that there are in the movie. Um, so yeah, there's some kills here. There are also some pretty cool costumes used throughout the movie by our killer here, where he changes costumes every time he has a new kill. Kind of makes me think of Terror Train a little bit from 1980. The bunny one that he wears specifically is one that I thought was the most effective and the most creepy. Um, so yeah, those are my pros. That's all I could come up with. Um, oh, my lighting is messed up. Sorry about that. What is going on here? Okay, I guess we'll just have to go with it for now since the video's almost done. As far as cons go, it has a very hard to see low quality shooting style to it, very grainy and not in a good way, like some low budget movies could be. So many of the characters that are killed randomly are just throwaway characters that we basically meet as they're being killed. So they hold no significance, or we don't care about any of them in this movie. They're not his friends or the people that he plays the game with or anything. They're just like random, like theater people. So that kind of, I mean, even though some of the kills are decent, that just kind of makes it like shrug your shoulders. You just don't care about any. They're just bodies on screen. It's a hard to follow story. Again, a cool premise, but really bad execution of that premise. It almost feels like they bit off a bit more than they could chew, given the premise and the idea, which is good, but not having the budget to actually pull it off in an effective way. Um, so in the end, it just doesn't work as a result. Like I said, I think they thought, oh, this is a really cool idea, let's do it. And then they took a look at their checkbook and said, we're really going to have to half-ass this. And that's kind of what you get in this movie, in my opinion. The ending of the movie makes very little sense. It just kind of felt like it felt like a tacked-on ending in order to end it. It just doesn't really work. Was never really engaged or interested in a lot of the movie. Now, again, some of that might be me, the fact that I didn't play a role-playing fantasy game like Dungeons and Dragons, though I did witness it. But the movie just doesn't really do a good job, again, because of its low budget, to really take you into this world and be enthralled by it. It's just kind of meh. The kills they don't really show much. If there's no gore, so there's some blood, but not that much of that either. The pacing is rough. Could never decipher. I don't think the movie could ever decipher which tone they really wanted to go with. More of the lighter comedy side of it, or like a more serious slasher. And as a result, the movie's just a bit of an uneven mess. It really is. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about Skullduggery, guys. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't foresee myself ever watching it again, to be honest. Some people might get more out of it, especially those that have actually participated in like I said, the role playing game. As I said, as I was reading the premise, I mean, it sounds really interesting. So I was actually kind of looking forward to it going into the movie, but it didn't hold my attention and it didn't work for me at all, really. So, other than those few pros that I had there. But with that being said, I'm going to give Skullduggery a 4 out of 10. Now, you might say, why are you giving it that high of a mark at 4? I think it's because of the premise. It is a really interesting idea that I think on a higher budget level could have really worked. They really could have done something with that. But as it is, it's just a sloppily executed movie. So 4 out of 10 for Skullduggery from 1983. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen this movie, your thoughts on it. Do you like it? Do you not? Have you done role-playing games before like this? Comment down below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It'll really help me out for my channel and my content going forward. But like I said, you can watch this movie for free both on Tubi or YouTube. So you don't have to put a big investment in. It's about 95 minutes long, which it's about 15 minutes longer than it needed to be. But that's just because I wasn't that into it, frankly. But yeah, check it out. I don't recommend it, but if you want to watch it, just out of curiosity, though, it is free on YouTube and Tubi. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying my 1983 horror movie reviews so far. Stay tuned for the next one, and as always, stay scared. Bye.